Hello students and welcome in today's session. Today we are going to see your chapter number 4's last point, that is of uses of metals and non-metals, right? So in that we will see where and in which field we will use the metals in various ways. Along with the metals, how the non-metals are useful for us. So let's start our today's topic, metals uses and non-metals uses, right? See, uses of metals and non-metals. Now in this you can see that the metals are used in making machinery, automobiles, aeroplane, trains, satellites, industrial gadgets, cooking utensils, water boilers, etc. Right? Now we know that the metals are good conductor of heat and electricity. They are malleable, ductile, right? So by using all these properties and because of all these properties, metal is useful in various things, right? So we can make different machineries of the metal which are durable, right? Another thing that whatever the electrical works are there, so to conduct the electricity, as the metals are good conductors of the electricity, we are using the metals here to carry the or to conduct the electricity. As the metals are good conductor of heat, we are using these metal cookwares in the kitchen, right? Then for aeroplanes also, parts of the aeroplanes are there, and most of the aeroplane is there that is made up of the metal, right? Then because we can make the thin sheets of that, then you know the aluminium foil is there which we generally use to wrap the food. Then silver foil is there which again we are using for coating the food, right? So as thin sheets of these metals are made, so they are also in case of preserving food, protecting food, we are using the metals, right? So by using the ductility, malleability characteristics, then conduction of the heat and electricity, we are using the metals in various fields, right? So whatever is given here, so whatever are given here are the different uses of the metals, right? Water boiler is there. This is again shows that due to the conductivity of heat of the metals, good conductors of heat, water boilers are made of the metals, right? As like that, non-metals are there, they are also useful for us, right? Now you have to guess here which is this non-metal, right? Now see, this use is given of this non-metal, and by seeing this use you have to guess which non-metal is there, right? So non-metals essential for our life, which all living organism being inhaled during breathing. So what we take during breathing, right? And that is also non-metal, right? So that is nothing but a oxygen, right? So here it is oxygen. Non-metals used in fertilizers to enhance the growth of the plant. Now which non-metals are there? They will use for good growth of the plant. So these are nothing but the nitrogen and phosphorus. So you can write the use of nitrogen and phosphorus like this, right? Non-metals used in water purification process, right? Now which metal is there which we use to purify the water? That is nothing but the chlorine, that we have seen already, right? Chlorine kills the microorganism. Non-metals used in the purple colored solution which is applied on wounds as an antiseptic, means the non-metal which is used as an antiseptic, used to cure the wounds, and that is nothing but the iodine, right? You know that iodine we are applying on the wounds, or in school whenever you get hurt, iodine will be applied it, right? Now non-metals used in crackers, right, to burst that, so that is nothing but a sulfur. Sulfur is the non-metal generally used in making crackers, right? Below this, if you will see, Here it is said that I heard that magnesium is found in plants, and in what form it is found in them. Yes, magnesium is there. Actually, it is present in the chlorophyll molecule at the center, right? Whatever the green color chlorophyll is there, it is present in the plant. So some of the metals we found as a major component in some of the structures in the plant body. Like that in animals also some of the metals are there, right? See here, doctor reported iron deficiency in my body. Where is iron in my body? So you know that iron is present in the blood, right? So that is in the form of hemoglobin. So red color, whatever is blood is there, that is because of iron. So along with iron we have phosphorus, calcium, sodium, like these metals in our body. Means metals and non-metals are also present in our body. So here is some of the information is given of the elements. This we have already seen in the beginning. Then also once again I will show you here, and you have to go through this box. Don't leave it, right? Don't skip it. See, the substances cannot be broken down further by any chemical reaction or by cooling, heating or by electrolysis. Such substances are called as a element. So element cannot be broken down further. See here, sulfur is an element. It is given an example. Iron, carbon are sulfur. Iron, carbon and sulfur are the examples of the element. The smallest unit of an element is the atom. Means element is made up of one or two atoms, right? So atoms comes together to form an element. The sample of an element contains only one kind of atom. Only one type of atoms we will found in each and every element, right? Atom of an element remains unaffected by physical changes in the element. Suppose the physical changes in the element means, suppose the state is changed, liquid state, water state or gaseous state, solid state. If the state is changed, then also whatever the atom is there, it will be remain unaffected, right? For example, an atom of liquid sulfur would be exactly the same as the atom of solid or vapor sulfur. So it is S8, it will be remain the same. Next, oxygen, if you will see in the air, it will be O2. So whenever oxygen in the gaseous form, it is O2, and whenever oxygen in the liquid form, that time it is also O2. Now see, there are no more than 92 naturally occurring elements are there, right? And these elements are classified into metals, non-metals, and some are there metalloids, right? So those who are showing the properties of metals and non-metals, these are known as the metalloids, right? Most of the elements are metal. Less than 20 are non-metal, right? Means non-metals number is less. Few are metalloids, which possesses the characteristics of metals and non-metals. So this we have already seen in the beginning of the chapter. Once again you can go through this box. Now let's go with the slides. Once again see the uses of the metal. Iron is used in making pins, nails, nuts, bolts, tools, machines, construction of buildings, bridge, etc. Right? So this is the given uses of iron, one of the very important metal. Aluminium, another metal, used for making utensils, wires, furniture, parts of aircraft, vehicles, machines, for packing food as an aluminium foil, and medicines, whatever the cover is there, right, of the tablet. So this is all made up of aluminium. So these are different uses of the aluminium. Then copper. Copper is a metal used for making wires, vessels, electrical gadgets, right, as it is a very good conductor of the electricity. Next metal is gold, used for making jewelry, coins, medals, etc. Right. Silver, used in making jewelries, coins and medals. Both gold and silver coins and medals are there, right? Even jewelries are available. Platinum, one more most important metal, used for making jewelry, electrical gadgets, plugs in vehicles, right? So very precious metal. Sodium, another important metal, it is compounds are used as a common salt, NaCl, right? So in NaCl salt, common salt is there which we are using in our food day to day life, right? So that contains a part of a sodium. Even it is used in many chemicals. Calcium is another very important metal which is again found in our body in large quantity, used for making cement, glasses, etc. Right? Like that, so many other metals are there, they have the various uses. Now see some of the non-metals and their uses. Sulfur is used for making sulfuric acid, salt of metals, and even we have seen one of the use that it is used in crackers. Oxygen is used for respiration by living things like living organisms. Burning of fuel, whenever the burning is there, then in presence of oxygen only burning takes place, so it will be used as fuel for burning process. Nitrogen, very important non-metal for crops, right? It is used for making ammonia. It is a chemical compound. It is also used for making fertilizers used in the field to grow the crops, proper growth of the crops. Next non-metal is a hydrogen. Hydrogen is used for making ammonia, which is used for making fertilizers as a fuel in rockets, right? Hydrogen in liquid form, it is used as a fuel for burning, right? And actually it is a very good fuel, right, used in rockets. For welding also it is used. Chlorine, it is used to kill the germs in the water, right? This was there in the textbook also, asked to guess. So chlorine is that non-metal which kills the germs in the water, so it is used in water purification. Iodine, this was also given in the textbook, used as a tincture of iodine and also as an antiseptic, so used to cure the wounds, right? So these are some of the non-metals with their uses. Now see, along with this there are some alloys, right? Now what is mean by alloy? Alloy is a homogeneous mixture, means kind of mixture it is, right, of metal with other metal or non-metal. So it is a kind of mixture. In 9th standard again you are going to learn about the mixtures, right? So that time also you will learn about the alloys. So just take an basic information about the alloy. Alloy is a kind of a mixture where the metals will be mixed or metals, non-metals will be mixed, right? So see here the name of the alloys are given, and this alloy is made up of which different metals or non-metals is given over here, and the use of that alloy, because whenever these metals get mixed with each other and alloy is formed, they will change their properties, and due to changed properties their uses also will be changed. See the first alloy is steel, right? Steel contains iron and carbon, right? Iron is a metal, carbon is a non-metal. So this used for the construction of tools, machines, tanks, vehicles, ship, rails, buildings, bridges, dams, and even we have stainless steel utensils at home, right? So stainless steel utensils are there. That is our the next alloy, that is stainless steel, contains iron and chromium, together it is mixed, and this stainless steel is there used as a utensils, cutlery making, surgical instruments are made from this stainless steel because it never rust, right? As it contains iron rust immediately, but stainless steel will not rust, right? Even steel will not rust. So that's why this is used in various purposes. Then next alloy is brass. Brass contains copper and zinc, these two metals, and this brass is used for making utensils. Brass utensils are also there, right? Some of the handicrafts are there, musical instruments are there, these are also made up of brass. Then bronze, one more alloy is there in which copper and tin are mixed together, and this bronze is as it is non-reactive, it is used for making statues, medals, bells, ornaments, etc. Right? Alnico is one more alloy made up of iron, aluminium, nickel and cobalt. Four are together there to make a alnico. This alloy is used for making of magnets. Whatever the artificial magnets are made, that is made from this alnico. Duralium, another alloy is there. Duralium is made up of aluminium, copper, magnesium and manganese. All these four together will be mixed together and form a duralium. Duralium is used for making utensils, pressure cookers, parts of vehicles and aircraft. So these are various alloys with their constituents and their various uses. Just to go through it. The next point is corrosion, right? We said that the iron goes on rusting. So corrosion is nothing but the rusting process. See, the surface of some metals get corroded when they are exposed to the moist air for a long time, and this is what it is called as a corrosion or a rusting. This we have seen in the reaction of the metals with the water or oxygen, right? So there we have seen the corrosion or the rusting. Now whenever the metal get corroded or rusted, then it will lose its properties and even it will get damaged. So we need to prevent this corrosion. How can we prevent this corrosion? So these are some of the preventive methods which are used to prevent the metals from the corrosion and protect the metal as it is, right? So the prevention of corrosion of metals. The corrosion of metals can be prevented by, the first is applying oil or grease. So whatever the metal is there which you want to prevent from corrosion, just apply a layer of oil or grease on it and it will not be corroded. So due to the presence of oil or grease, they will prevent the direct contact of the metal with the air and the metal will not get corroded. Another is that again you have to form a layer in between the air and the metal with paint, right? So you just apply paint on the metal and it will stop from corrosing. Maybe you have seen that whatever the iron things are made, right? So generally they are painted, right? Either maybe black color or any other color, but paint will be given. So this will stop corrosion of that metal. Galvanization. Galvanization means this is a method in which the metal will be coated with another metal which is non-corrosive, right? Suppose iron's galvanization we have to do. Take an example of your bicycle. Your bicycle is looking shiny. Handles of the bicycles are shiny, right? So in this case, is that handles made up of the non-corrosive metal or they are made up of iron only, but outer side one coat is given on that? Yes, outer side shiny coat is given. This is what it is known as the galvanization. So another non-corrosive metals coat will be given on the metal which can corrode, right? So this metal will be prevented by another layer of non-corrosive metal. This is what it is known as the galvanization. Next one is electroplating. So this is also applying coat on the metal of another non-corrosive metal like chromium, tin, right? But here this applying coat is done with the help of electricity. You just pass the electricity and the one metal will get coated with the another metals. Atom will get deposit on it and coating is formed with the help of electricity. Both the process are same, right? But here this is done with the electricity. That's why it is electroplating, right? Alloying. Alloying means when iron is alloyed with the chromium, mixed with chromium and nickel, it forms the stainless steel. This just now we have seen, right? And when we form alloy of the iron, then newly formed alloy is there which will not be corroded. That will be resistance to the corrosion. So in this way, by using this different method, we can stop corrosion of the metal. this one more activity is there that you can perform at the home to understand that what is the rusting of iron and what are the conditions required for iron's rusting, right? So for that you can take a test tube, but if test tube is not available, take an any container, put one iron nail in a test tube, right? Put some anhydrous calcium chloride in one test tube to absorb the moisture. Another test tube, three test tube it is said. So take the three test tube, take one nail in each test tube. In one you have to keep calcium chloride, right? So the property of the calcium chloride is that it will absorb all the water vapors, water moisture in it. So in this test tube then water molecules will not be present, right? So it will absorb the moisture. Pour some boiled water from which dissolved oxygen has been removed in a second test tube. So this is the second test tube. This water you have to boil, right? Once you boil the water, then whatever the dissolved oxygen is there, it will get vaporized. So that oxygen will be removed from the water, right? And then boiled water you can pour into the second test tube. So this test tube is there. Here the water is present, but no oxygen is there, right? And third test tube is there. Pour some water in the third test tube. So normal water you can pour in this. So in this water is also present, and along with the water oxygen is also present. Now you have to just cork these three test tube, make them airtight and leave it for 3 to 4 days. After 4 days, if you will see, the nail in the first and second test tube will not be rusted, because here water is not there and here oxygen is not there. But in the third test tube we can see that the nail is rusted, because for rusting of iron the oxygen and water both components are required and it is present over here. That's why rusting occurs in the third test tube. But here due to absence of oxygen, rusting will not take place, and here due to absence of water, rusting will not take place. So from this activity we can conclude that the water and oxygens are essential for rusting of iron, right? So today we have learned about the uses of metals and non-metals, how the metals different characteristics are there, that because of that characteristic, that properties, we can use the metals in various fields. Same like that, non-metals also have some of the properties, and because of that we are using the non-metals for our various purposes, right? So this is what about the uses of metals and non-metals. Along with that we have seen about the elements. Then whatever the elements, different examples are there, that we have seen. Metal, non-metal, metalloids means what, that we have seen. Then what is mean by corrosion, what is mean by alloys, how the different alloys are formed, what are the different uses of alloys. Then if you see the alloy, then the content of the metal or non-metal in the alloy shows the different properties, and alloy shows the different properties. So the properties of the both are different. Because of that the alloys are more useful, where that metal can't be used, right? So these different alloys with their uses we have seen. And the next one, whatever the corrosion is there, how this corrosion or rusting takes place, and to avoid that corrosion, to protect the metal which are corrosive from corrosion process, what we can do. So the different methods to protect the metals from the corrosion also we have seen, right? And the activity also, how the corrosion takes place and what are the essential things to carry out the corrosion process. So water and oxygen is essential for the corrosion, right? If it is not available, corrosion will not take place. So these many points we have studied today. If you have any doubt, comment in comment box. If you don't have any doubt, then like the video and complete your notes. Send me the pics. All the best.